Here's a quick disclaimer before we get started. I love Divevolk Seatouch housings and have been shooting with them for over a year and a half. Between the original Seatouch 4, the Platinum version, and now the Plus, I've made almost 500 dives with them, and hope to continue using Divevolk housings for a long time. That said, there are a couple of things about the general design that could be improved. Well, in my opinion. So here they are. My biggest issue with Divevolk is the way the phones are loaded into the housing. Specifically, they slide in from the side. Before the Divevolk, I had several what I'll call clamshell housings. Those included the Sea Life Sport Diver and the Hot Dive H2. Both of those allowed you to lay the phone directly into the housing flat and swing the door over the phone to close it. I certainly understand why Divevolk engineers don't want to subject the large soft membrane to potential hazards of sharp objects laying on a table. But here's why I am not a fan. Over time, sliding the phone in and out of the housing can cause microabrasions across the inside of the membrane. And over hundreds of dives, they can have a negative impact on the clear transparency of the membrane. Because the membrane is essentially a soft gel-filled pillow stretched across a large opening, it hangs down. Divevolk appears to accommodate for this with its tray design, because the far end has a slight curve to minimize contact with the membrane. That said, as soon as the phone makes contact, that's where any dirt, dust, fingerprints, or damage to the phone can rub up against and scratch the inner membrane. Now, I am certainly not a product engineer, but perhaps a couple of small modifications to the tray's design could delay contact with the membrane until the very end of the slide, significantly reducing potential scratching. Pending any future design change, here are a few things I do to keep scratches to a minimum. First, I keep the tray door closed and the housing covered whenever it's not in use. We live on a humid, windy, dusty island, so dirt finds its way into everything, and I want to keep the inside membrane as clean as possible. Second, I clean the phone with a soft towel before putting it into the tray. Third, right before insertion, I open the housing door with the membrane on top and give it a quick blow, just to make sure that any loose dust or dirt that did get in there isn't resting on the membrane when I slide the tray in. If you have any additional thoughts on keeping things clean, please let me know in the comment section below. My second pet peeve is the membrane size. Divevolk just released the Seatouch 4 Max Plus model, which does accommodate the latest iPhone 16 Pro Max, but just barely. In fact, Divevolk encourages using accessibility features like Assistive Touch to navigate, because the membrane is just about the same size as the largest iPhone screen. And not only is it very difficult to swipe from the edge, doing so may even damage the membrane. Now, while the Assistive Touch button itself works very well for navigation, where you place it is not without issue. Using the default iPhone camera app, you can place it along the top or bottom edge. However, that does cover part of your image. There are a couple of open slots on the left side, but those are problematic as well. It's hard to get the button to move there because it just wants to move up, covering the frames per second functionality, or down, which covers the flash functionality. And even when you do get it to stick, the first time you press Assistive Touch, the button just moves up or down anyway. That leaves the right side. The middle of the right edge has the home slide functionality, and when the Assistive Touch button is positioned in that area, it automatically moves so far to the right that part of it falls off the screen and is just about impossible to press. The only remaining spots are the upper and lower right corners. Unfortunately, the membrane does not function well in the corners because that's where the membrane is the thinnest, and the housing corners prevent my fingers from getting a solid press. The right-hand corners are also the most ideal location for Assistive Touch when using the Final Cut camera app, and the left-hand corners are best for the Blackmagic camera app. In the next iteration of the Seatouch housing, I might recommend the engineers expand the membrane by at least 1 full centimeter. That should give ample room for users to truly use all of the phone's screen, including the corners, and since phone dimensions seem to increase from year to year, it should allow one Seatouch model to accommodate new phones for several years. So those are my 2 pet peeves. Neither one is a showstopper for me, and I truly hope they aren't for you either. I really do love the housing. You certainly can't argue with these results. Perhaps Divevolk can run with either or both of these ideas and make improvements in future models. If so, the entire community will benefit. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comment section below. Better yet, give it a like. And if you haven't already subscribed to the Tropic Lens channel, you can do that while I'm talking right now. Thanks! Smiley face.